Let's discuss.
Rachel back again with another reaction video, and today I will be checking out a new track from Novelists taken from their upcoming album Déjà Vu, which will be out on September 2nd. I feel like this has been announced for a good minute. It's been a while that these singles have been coming out and stuff, but we still got a little ways to go. I'm sure September will be here before we know it though. So today I'll be checking out Heretic, which features Flo from Landmarks. I believe Ashton is also involved in the video if I'm not mistaken, but all of this through Out of Line Music, of course. I will link Novelist social media, the video I'll be reacting to, Out of Line Music, all in the description. With Novelists, I talked a lot about my experience with them, how Mateo, their old vocalist, is in like my top 5 probably vocalists ever. So for me, I don't really compare these two different eras of this band to each other. I really like the new singles, although I was a bigger fan of the initial mix of Lost Cause. There's some new mixes on some of the singles with this album release. So that interests me in terms of like the rest of the album, what that means for me. I felt like with the first singles, those were the ones I loved the most. And then as they've gone on, they've drawn me less, but I've not disliked any of them, if that makes sense. So I don't mean that in a negative way, but it seemed like they were coming out of the gate with like the ones that really grabbed me. So I hope this one pulls me back in the way Terrorist, Lost Cause did. I love those tracks. So I have talked a bunch in this. I'm going to stop talking and we are going to get straight into it. Ooh, that bass. Starting straight off with a feature.
Everything's what it seems. Heaven knows when you pray. Thinking of pure mistake. I didn't walk on the pain. You wanna let go of us? I'm to need another voice of medication, and I'm sick of all the causes and the guts you shot. There was no one up above. There was no one up above. I'm just sick of all the causes and the guts you shot.
Very well shot music video. Before that, Keaton was in the comment, I kept losing the symbol.
And all the torment, I wanna go. Every time I lose, I can't ignore. When the time comes, I let me go. So when you try to tear the world apart, and though you're tired of running in the dark, and all the torment, I wanna
Novelists, Heretic. Let's discuss. Some really obvious, I think, how to word. I think some obvious maybe techniques or whatever that's used in pop music, like the echoing and stuff that's in that chorus is so catchy, and that's something, obviously this overall does not sound like a pop song, but with some of the clean vocals, with some of those echoing things throughout the singles, it's really something I think that if you go back and listen for it, if it's not something that you've already noticed, you'll hear a lot of. So it kind of drives the catchiness of the choruses, which this one goes right in line with the other ones for me as being a catchy one. I think that Lost Cause and Terrorist will be really hard to beat, especially those original versions. There was just something, the hype and the release and such, but I think that like with the other singles that I didn't love quite as much as those, it will be one of those things where when the full album comes out and it's in the context of the album order and such, they may go on repeat even more, because like Do You Really Want to Know is a track I really dug. It's more just them falling off repeat, like when they're first coming out, listening a lot. Although I think that, yeah, it's really been my listening has been most like Lost Cause has my most plays, and then Terrorist, like it goes pretty much in order, and not even just because of when they come out, like it's a significant amount of difference in the plays because of how much I enjoyed them. But this one I think maybe a little bit higher up. I can't remember right now the name of the last one, probably because I'm trying to. Smoke Signals was the name of the last one. So this one I think I dig more, although I think something that will stand out probably to a lot of other people is like in the breakdown, like you have the use of Flo's sort of rap type of delivery. It's throughout the song a few times. It doesn't do much for me, whereas with a lot of other people it does a lot, and for me it's something I can appreciate. Like I don't dislike it either, but it doesn't drive it further for me, where I feel with a lot of novelists, not novelists, a lot of Landmarks fans, that's something that differs. Like with their most recent album, it was something that I think was used quite a bit. So for some people, they were like, this is my album of the year, I love this. And for me, I didn't find myself doing as much revisiting, and I think it's because I find their standout parts to be elsewhere. But then that's not the only contribution in the feature too. This was a really thorough feature, which I enjoy, because you have like I mentioned I think during the reaction, you start out in that first verse with Flo, which is not the case very often with features. I feel a lot of times it's pretty standard how features have been used in the past, but more and more I think we're seeing them used a little bit differently. I love when it's like this and it's not just like one little snippet of the song and it's, you know, this little part of it or whatever. It feels like a thorough feature. So the chorus on this, definitely catchy. I mentioned the bass, like I think it was in the very first verse. Maybe not actually. That may have been further in the song than I thought. But throughout the track, I was feeling that. I hope throughout this album there'll be a few tracks where we get that groove, because while Novelist has beautiful pieces of guitar all throughout their discography, that is like a thing that draws people to Novelists. There's no way that you can, especially with the solo in this song being split the way that it was and such. Big shout out to the music video as well. That I think was when I realized how well shot the music video was. Very impressive. But beyond that, like, that is a good example of, you know, just beautiful guitar utilized in their music while also having like that bounce. As soon as that first verse really kicks in there, throughout the entire track you get, well, through the chorus it's a bit of a different feel, I would say. It does a good job. Like there are certain parts of the song that feel like absolve more into like the electronic sort of feel, or some of the effects that we get from Tobias and some of his vocals and such. It feels like the choruses sort of open up there while still keeping true to, you know, the sound of Novelist, having a solo like that, having Flo like that throughout the track. But even so, this was a bit different than what you would expect. Not Flo, the vocalist of Landmarks, Flo, one of the guitarists of Novelist. Anyway, on first hearing this, I think I will do some revisiting, but since, oh yeah, I didn't even get to finish talking. So you've got those, like, you know, rap style sort of vocals, but they're blended, the feature blends back in with that drop, which them beating up the car during that drop, the drumming in the breakdown there. I loved all of that. Even if I wasn't particularly drawn to that style of vocal that you first get there, overall it changes, first of all, throughout the breakdown, and second of all, it's not to where it's not carried through by other elements for me, so something I still dig. So I think it'll be about in the middle for me in terms of, I won't be listening to this as much as Lost Cause or Terrorist or Do You Really Want to Know, I don't think, but it'll probably come in right after that. And then obviously once this album drops and I do a video or a live stream for that, I'll have a better idea of where they've all landed for me leading up to the album. So those are my thoughts after my first listen. I will link this very well shot and very good video in the description, so you can go check that out if you have not yet. Give them a thumbs up because it seems like a lot of work went into this, or at least it came out very well. So beyond that, you can also find my link tree in the description. As always, that will have the invite for the Discord server that I talk about in every single video. In the community, we've got music-related conversation unrelated to music as well. We just sort of got a lot going on there. So if you're interested in coming to join, check out the community. That will be there, as well as my Instagram profile link. On Instagram, I do post all music-related content. I post a chart every Friday of what I've listened to the most over the course of that week. I post a lot of merch. I've got a never-ending merch collection. T-shirts, sweatshirts, vinyl, flags, just a never-ending merch collection, so I post on there. Merch collection, I post sometimes on my story about new songs or videos that I found, and then I'll post sometimes about shows if I've been to a show recently and have anything to share. So if that interests you at all, my handle on there is Rachel Reacts, just like my YouTube channel, but I'll have it in that link tree in the description. As always, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it.